2nd of July 2001, the fourth round of Wimbledon tournament. It's a match between Pete Sampras, who has already 7 titles in Wimbledon tournament, the most prestigious tournament in tennis world, and the young tennisman who has a future and who has won several ATP tournaments, but still is no name in big tennis world. 3 hours and 47 minutes later, Pete Sampras will be upset by the defeat to this youngster. The name of this youngster, as you can guess, is Roger Federer. Roger Federer was born in 8th of August 1981. His father, Robert Federer, worked for Ciba pharmaceutical company in Basel, Switzerland. His mother, Lynette Federer, also worked in Ciba pharmaceutical company, but in South Africa. His parents met each other in South Africa when Robert decided to quit the job and to start new life in South Africa. But guess what? He found the new job in Ciba, and there he met his future wife, Lynette. They decided after to move to Basel and to start to work in headquarters of Ciba in Basel. Roger was a very active child and he started to play tennis since he was 3 years old. His parents will remember that he could spend hours to shoot the wall with the racket and the ball. But tennis was not the only sport in his childhood. Roger also played football, squash, and he is a great skier because he is from Switzerland. I will tell you more. Roger liked soccer or football the same way as he liked tennis. At 6 years old, Roger Federer will join Old Boys Tennis Club in Basel. He will join a group of little kids trained by Adolf Krasovsky, and later Adolf will remember young Federer as someone who didn't take training seriously and he preferred to have fun with his friends while training. Federer will meet his best friend Marco Ciudinelli. Marco will remember Roger also as someone who preferred to make fun, to laugh on training, but when something special comes, for example an official tennis match, Roger was unstoppable. He became concentrated and skillful in one moment. At the age of 8, Roger decided definitively to become the professional tennis player. He chose tennis over soccer or football because of the fact that football was a teamwork, and if you perform well, it's not a guarantee that your team will win the match. In tennis, there is more control on the game and more things depends on the player. So that's why Roger decided to start taking tennis more seriously than other type of sports. Also, at the age of 8, he was selected by Adolf Krasovsky as one of the gifted kids in his tennis group, and he started to train him personally. And at the age of 10, he will change the coach and meet Peter Carter. And Peter Carter in the future will become very big friend of Roger. And Peter Carter is the man who will impact the Roger's tennis technique and the way of Roger's playing. Roger was a very big fan of Pete Sampras, Boris Becker, Martina Hingis, and Roy Emerson. In the case of Martina Hingis, Federer was more inspired by the fact that Martina Hingis was from Switzerland. She became very popular in the world. Because of Martina Hingis, Roger had this big ambition to become the world #1 professional tennis player. In case of Boris Becker and Pete Sampras, Roger was the fan of their aggressive style, aggressive play, and in his early years he will often use this aggressive play in his game. And also both of them have a very powerful one-hand backhand, which will become the big part of Federer's technique. Peter Carter has also one-hand backhand in his tennis arsenal. If we will talk about Roy Emerson, who was also the hero of Federer in tennis, the manner of Roy Emerson to make serves and the grace with which Roy Emerson played tennis was very impactful for Roger. But the most impactful person in Federer's tennis career was Peter Carter. I would say 70% of tennis technique came to Federer from Peter. In 1996, at the age of 14, Federer started his junior career and he decided to move to Ecublens, its center of national Switzerland tennis team, where Federer trained for 3 hours a day and had normal subjects such as math, French, etc. Here we need to notice that his time in Ecublens was very hard to him because of the fact that he was the only kid in Ecublens who was from the German side of Switzerland. And Roger came to French side, and in French side they speak all French and no German. And Federer was integrated in French family. He had lessons on French, training on French, everything was on French. Basically there is no one who talked German. By the way, the native Federer's language is not German but English. He overcame his difficulties because of the fact that it was his personal decision to move to Ecublens to start his junior career. His junior career finished in 1998. He was ranked on the first place in ITF ratings. ITF is International Tennis Federation. After junior Wimbledon tournament, he got a wild card professional tournament in Gstaad Open, where he lost on the first round to Joseph Arnold Kerr. He was also invited in Toulouse Open, where he faced Guillaume Roux, and he lost him on the first round, and the Basel Indoor Championship, where he also lost on the first round. It was a poor performance for Federer, but he gained very big experience in professional tennis. He decided to move forward and start his professional career in 1999. His first goal was to win one ATP tournament. For that, he changed the coach, Peter Carter, to another Peter from Sweden, Peter Lundgren, who was more experienced in professional tennis because he won several ATP titles, and also he was participated in semi-finals in French Open and in fourth round in Wimbledon and Australian Open. Also, I need to say here that Peter Carter was a little bit disappointed, but the choice of Roger didn't impact their friendship in the future, and he supported Federer for the rest of his life. So with Peter Lundgren, he started to climb on ATP rankings, but still he got two problems. It was his arrogance. For example, if he loses a game or he is not happy about his performance, he could crash rackets, get bad temper very fast, and also his physical longevity. And he started to work on this problem. He was a very talented tennis player, but he could not play his whole potential because of these two problems. And for that, he started to search his fitness trainer. He found Pier Paganini, who in the past participated in different sprints and long jumps. Pier Paganini found out that Federer was very gifted, but still he is not capable to show all his skills because of the absence of longevity in his matches. Pierre started to adapt the fitness training process to Federer. Here we need to notice another time that Federer was someone who was very talented but not organized person. To interest Federer in fitness training, Paganini should make the process more fun. Also to make Roger understand that not every training will be funny. Pierre observed the normal tennis training of Roger Federer and his official matches, and he take attention to Federer's moving on the pitch, and he adapted the training to his movements. There were exercises on stamina which include movements that Federer uses in his matches. Federer started not just to climb on rankings but also to win ATP tournaments. His first ATP title was in Milan on 4th February 2001. He became popular in close tennis circle but not worldwide. But 2 months later in Wimbledon tournament he will defeat Pete Sampras. And after this match Federer became world sensation and the future of professional tennis. That was very big achievement for Roger. And everything went fine till the August 2002. His ex-coach and a very big friend, Peter Carter, died in South Africa in car accident. And that became very big trauma for Federer, and for several months his tennis play was impacted drastically by this accident. But I won't tell his story if he would not overcome this problem. His trauma he transformed in his main motivation. In 2003 he finally started to outperform his concurrents. In July 2003 he won his first Grand Slam title. This title was the Wimbledon title, the most prestigious tennis tournament in the whole tennis world. But also I need to notice that this was an additional stressful point for Federer because all his tennis heroes won their first Grand Slam titles on very early stages in their professional career. For 4 years, Federer could not achieve this milestone. After this event, his professional career changed drastically, and the era of total Federer domination on the tennis court began. In 2003 season, at the side of Wimbledon, he won another 3 ATP tournaments in Gstaad, Dubai and Marseille, and he finished the 2003 season at the second position in ATP ranking. In 2004, he won 3 Grand Slam titles: Wimbledon, Australian Open and US Open, 3 ATP 1000 Masters title in Indian Wells, Hamburg and Canadian Open, 2 ATP 500 Master titles in Dubai and Hull Open, 3 ATP 250 Master titles in Gstaad Open and Tennis Master Cup or ATP Finals, and the 2004 season ranked number 1. In 2005, 2 Grand Slam titles, Wimbledon and US Open, 4 ATP Masters 1000 title, Indian Wells Masters, Miami Open, Hamburg Masters, Cincinnati Masters, 4 ATP Masters 500 titles, Rotterdam Open, Dubai Tennis Championship, Hull Open, Bangkok Open, and ATP Finals in Shanghai. In 2006, he won 12 titles. 3 of them were Grand Slam tournaments: Wimbledon, Australian Open and US Open. He also was in French Open finals, but he lost to Rafael Nadal. Rafael Nadal at this year started to take his form. In 2007, he won 8 titles. 3 of them were Grand Slam tournaments: Australian Open, Wimbledon and US Open. Again, he was in French Open finals, but he lost to Rafael Nadal. In 2008, he won 4 titles, and one of them was US Open. He lost to Nadal in finals in Wimbledon and in French Open, and he lost to Novak Djokovic in semifinals in Australian Open. This year, the Federer's total dominance on the court ended and the big 3 rival began. There was a major concurrence between Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal and Federer. In 2009, he won 4 ATP titles, and 3 of them were Grand Slam tournaments: Wimbledon, Australian Open, and finally the French Open or Roland Garros. And after this victory, Roger achieved very important career milestone, which was achieved by 5 other tennis players: the winning of all 4 Grand Slam tournaments. Before him there were Don Budge, Rod Laver, Roy Emerson, Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi. At the period of great rival, Federer won 3 Australian Open in 2010, 2017, 2018, and another 2 Wimbledon tournaments in 2012 and 2017, and 12 ATP titles. In 2020, he had a knee injury pursued with 2 operations, and from 2020 he could not perform on the level he used to perform before. In 2022 season, it became evident he could not participate in professional tennis anymore, and in September 2022 he finished his professional career. On the retirement, Roger continues to play tennis, but just for his pleasure. He has various collaborations with big brands such as On Cloud, Rolex, Mercedes, Lindt, Wilson and Uniqlo. In his professional career, Roger won 28 ATP titles and 20 Davis Cup trophies. I need to say that if tennis was a person, it would definitely be Roger Federer. And that's why Roger Federer had an enormous support throughout the world, no matter which country. It doesn't matter which territory he plays, in homeland in Switzerland or in Australia. Everyone supported Roger Federer, because if Federer wins, the whole tennis wins. I wish you a long life and in prosperity.